Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com. Today, we're going to be changing out the air filter on our 2008 Yamaha Raider. Now, this can be a little bit tricky to do, but don't worry. I'm going to walk you through the whole process because it's tucked in right under that fuel tank. So that means it's got to get out of the way first. So if you're ready, we'll dive into this. All right, guys, as predicted, I'm going to go with a factory OEM air filter from Yamaha. Now, if you haven't already, why don't you go to Partzilla.com and go to our exploded diagrams for this year, make, and model. That's going to show you where it's hiding right under this fuel tank. What's step number one? Real simple. All we have to do is remove the seat. And then we're going to remove these bolts and get the instrument cluster out of the way. And these are going to be a 5mm Allen. All right, 3 plug-ins, just on that center tab. Push down, pull. There we go. And actually, that last one, it just curls back around. So there's only 2 connections on here. Now the harness is going to be staying with the machine, so we just want to disconnect it from the tank, and each one of these you just squeeze in from the bottom and then lift up. Alright, looks like someone has already been in here because that should have been up here. So this filter may have been done at some point in time in its life. Guess we're going to find out. Now, typically what I have to do is just squeeze and twist just a little bit just to break that seal loose to where the hose will then come off. There we go. All right, now we're going to pull these 2 bolts, these 2 that releases a cover, and then there's going to be 2 more under that cover. I think someone's been in here. This one closest to me, it was just barely on there. And the other one was tight. I should have mentioned this earlier, but if your tank is full, you probably want to go ahead and drain as much as you can out of it because gas weighs, what, 8 pounds per gallon? Fortunately for me, my fuel light's already on, so there's not much left in here. But if yours is full, do yourself a favor. Trying to move around a tank when it's full of fuel is not an easy thing to do, and you do not want to drop it and damage that beautiful paint. All right, and these 2 down here are 4mm. All right, these 2 are 6mm Allens. Next, let's turn our attention to the fuel lines, and we actually have a couple of shutoffs back here because there is still some fuel in there. But Yamaha was nice enough to give us these 2 shutoffs, and right now they're screwed all the way out. That means they're open, so we want to bring them all the way in until they bottom out. The next step is to remove this side panel. Now it has a T30 security screw in the back, which has that hole in the middle so it can go over that little protrusion. And then a 4mm hex up top. All right, I think we can get away with it just hanging right there. Just be careful with it so you don't scratch it. And what we were after right there is access to the top of the fuel pump, so we can remove this line, and then we have one more over here. We're also going to cut that zip tie and just replace it. Now reach in, release this clamp. There we go. Now this one is going to squeeze in like we did on the front of the tank for those connectors and push it down. Not a lot of room, but it's doable. Now we're about to release these 2 clamps. Now chances are there won't be any fuel in that one, but this one back here, there probably will be, so just be prepared for that. Now listen, you don't have to remove this vent line, but it makes it easier to access where it connects to the fuel pump. There we go. Now this guy. Squeeze a little bit. Now do keep in mind, this is plastic, so don't break it. There we go. Okay, one more to get with here. You can definitely tell which one's the send and which one's the return. All right, we should be ready to lift off now. Yeah, I have no fuel in here. Yeah, that did need to get disconnected. That's probably for the fuel gauge. There we go. All right, next, put this somewhere safe. Now there's just 7 Phillips screws that go around the perimeter of the airbox cover. Now if yours is really dirty, be careful here, because once we lift this off and remove the cover, then take out the air filter, that's letting it straight into the engine. So just be aware of that. All right, ours wasn't in horrible condition. Now if you want to see one that looks bad, go check out our secondary air filter on our White Z1000R. That was just unnatural. It was bad. Just go watch it for entertainment purposes. Ugh. All right. Let's see if we can get her to release. There we go. This was not in that bad a shape, but it was due. I've certainly seen worse. Now we're going to go back in the same way we came out. It'll have the Yamaha 1D7 at the back of the filter. Making sure we don't have any tears in our seal. We don't. So I think we're good to go back in. Well, now it's just reverse order, putting everything back together. Now don't get too carried away tightening these down. It's just plastic that you're going into. Okay, she's in place. Let's get that tank reinstalled. There's one. All right, we got our first one. Let's get around to the top of the fuel pump. Takes a bit of wiggling, but she'll go on there eventually. There. And now we can put that vent line back on. See, with it out of the way, it makes it a lot easier to get to. Don't forget your zip tie. Get it back in place. Now at this point, we can go ahead and release our valves and then put our caps back on. And that's just counterclockwise all the way out. Now, our tins back in the back. Our 2 hexes up front. Vent line. So we're going to remember to put the clamp on like somebody else didn't. Get these 2 pushed back in. All right. Get our cover piece back in. Got our connections. Just layer in place. Alright, let's get our cover back up in place. There we go. Well, all right, guys, that's going to wrap up this video. I wasn't so much of a bear now after all, was it? Well, listen, if you need any parts for your machine, why don't you come see us at Partzilla.com and we can get you taken care of. If you have any questions or comments about this video, leave them in the section below and I'll do my best to answer them. And hey, if you like what you see, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you can keep up with whatever I'm working on next. We just want to say thank you for shopping here with us at Partzilla, and we will see you in the next video. Y'all have a great day.